What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, of Pop Culture. Today's video, we're going to be looking at some screen grabs of a Whatnot show that I saw today. And look, most of you that know me know that I've been very vocal about certain tactics that folks do on Whatnot. I've even showed some probably screen grabs before, but I never expose anyone's name. I'm doing it today. I really honestly don't care. Now, this individual follows me on Whatnot, so I'm assuming that they know who I am. So if they see this, you know what? I have no shame in this because I believe I'm doing the right thing by creating a conversation around what I saw today. This individual, in my humble opinion, and I'm going to provide data and facts to present why my opinion is based in fact and it is a solid statement to go against this guy to say that he was straight up lying to his viewership, trying to make sales, guys. We're going to go into it. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. But let's look at this. His name's David, and I hop in, and I was following this guy too, but I'm not familiar with who he is. I unfollowed him because I'm not going to follow somebody that does what I saw today. And I know everyone has their little tactics of like, oh, bid it up and all this stuff. Never once have I actually commented in their show saying, well, but this is selling for this or this is that, to call them out. Never have. I may have talked about it in my own videos. I've never called them out about it. If they want to sit there and be used car salesmen and all that and lie, whatever, it is what it is. And, you know, I give a lot of responsibility and accountability on the buyers too for not being educated and for just, if they're buying it and they're not doing their research and educating themselves, then hey, there's accountability on them too. But so this individual had a Hulk 181. He actually had a Hulk 180, 181, and a 182 for sale. They were in the background, and somebody started inquiring about them. He pulls it out, and that's what you can see here in this image. We're going to go through some images here. He starts showing off this book. The first thing that I notice is he's saying, oh, this is a 5.0 with the press. Now, you're not selling the book after it's been pressed at a 5.0. The book has not been pressed. So what is the grade? What is your estimated grade for what the book is right now in the state that you are selling it in? But he calls it a 5.0 with the press. And then he shows this. It's missing the value stamp. Okay. And he said, I mean, he wasn't trying to hide this fact. But he was asking $2,000 for it. And he's like, you're not going to find a 181 like this for $2,000. That's a steal. You're not going to find one anywhere close to that. Not only is it missing the value stamp there, it's also, you guys can see here, it's missing another cutout that affects story. So what do I say to him? I say, as you can see right here, Journals Comics says, it's incomplete. Because he kept saying, kept going like 5.0, 5.0. I said it's incomplete in the cutout effects story that would get a blue label 0.5. And he saw that and he says, no way, no way. This is a 5.0. And I'm like, dude. All right, so here's some more images. Now as he's showing off the Hulk 181, he starts continuing to put some Amazing Spider-Man books up. But you can see here, it's kind of hard to read, but it does say, because I looked it up while I was sitting here. I looked at cover price. I went to eBay, which I'll show you guys as well. I said 5.0 blue labels, 181s are going for roughly about $2,200 right now. He completely ignored that, but I could tell in his tone that he was getting annoyed. And funny thing is, he kept putting these, late Bronze Age Spider-Man books, and there's a couple of other books that he put up, and he started them at a $5 bid. And he was like, he kept going because they kept selling at like $5 or $6, and he was like, these ain't anywhere close to $5 books. And he was getting annoyed, like that he wasn't getting what he was wanting for him. So I'm like, well, start the bid more if you think that they're worth more. So here's cover price, guys. We're just going to look at this real quick. These are the graded slab comic values, right? All these slab comic values are based on complete blue labels, right? You can see that a 5.0 graded comic book is selling for about, this is what I said, about $2,200. The last sale that cover price has. Now, there have been a few more. It usually takes maybe a week or two for cover prices. Although this was on the 8th, so this is pretty updated actually. Sometimes it can take a week or so for sales to get to cover price, but 2100. This guy is asking $2,000, roughly about the same amount that somebody just paid for a Blue Label 5.0, a complete book, value stamp intact, no missing story, no cutouts, already CGC graded. This guy's selling a raw book that probably wasn't even at a 5.0 as is. Of course, it's not at a 5.0 because it has cutouts. But I mean, even if it was complete, it needs a press. Selling it, trying to sell a raw book that's incomplete, that would be a 0.5 if you went and spent all the money. I mean, what would it cost now to send a Hulk 181 to CGC? I mean, with shipping and all that for Bronze Age, a tier of that volume, because, you know, it's still going to be over, what, $400, $500 value. About $100, $80 to $100 is going to cost you. This is what he's trying to sell it at, when I could go find a complete 5.0 already graded Blue Label for about the same amount. So let's go down to what he's actually selling. Again, this isn't what he's selling because it's raw. For a graded, again, I pay the money to send my book out to CGC to get it graded. It's got a Blue Label. Even a 1.0 is roughly about $1,000, $900 to $1,000. The last one sold for just over $1,000. A 0.5, which is what this would be, is selling for under $1,000. The average is $844. The last sale was that at least cover price has is $767. This is what this guy is asking for this book. It's raw though, so a raw copy probably wouldn't even get this much. But I will say this: 0.5s aren't all created equally. I mean, that you could have a 0.5 that presents really nasty. This book did present extremely well. I mean, you could probably get a qualified green label and it maybe be around possibly a 5.0 qualified. But now, I don't know, because it's missing the value stamp and it's missing the story. So would they take both of those and still qualify it as a 5.0? That would be hard. I would have to actually talk to CGC, or if anybody knows more than I do in the comments, leave your thoughts in the comments. With those two cutouts missing, let me know. It would definitely be incomplete effects story, certified, or excuse me, a green label, qualified green label. So, but let's look at eBay. Because you have a 5.0 again, complete 5.0 selling for $2,400. Here's one selling for $2,500. Now, here's the interesting thing. Here's a qualified 5.0 selling for about $1,500, right? Let's look at this, because I want to see if this is actually complete. We're going to zoom in. So this is, again, this is why not all 0.5s are created equal and why all green levels aren't created equal either. Marvel value stamp missing. Nothing affects the story for this 5.0 qualified. And it's graded and it's already sent to CGC. It's not raw, and it's sold for $1,500, which is still $500 less than what this guy is asking for this raw copy, missing value stamp, another cutout that affects story. So again, and we're gonna go back to the images that I brought up. Now we're gonna look at this. Oh, right here. This guy right here said, my offer is $1,800 for the trio, for all three. And they all were missing the value stamp. I think it was 182 that was just missing the stamp. Didn't affect story. Oh, and then 180 also. See, here's 182. Value stamps cut off. Oh, here is, maybe this was 180 actually. Here's another cutout. I'm going to have to bring up another email that showed how that was 180 that was affected story too. So let's look at these images. So here's 180. He just showing off the cover. Marvel value stamp. Look at how dirty it was. And he was calling this like a fine. He's like, it just needs a clean. I'm like, first off, that's grimy. It almost looks like it might be mold, but it could just be black dinge. That's nasty. Right here. So this is the cutout in the 180 that affects. He said it didn't affect story. Okay, David, let me educate you. I think what he was implying that it didn't affect story was that none of the word bubbles or word boxes, the text boxes were missing. That's not what it means to affect story. What it means, if anything is missing from the actual story pages, which includes the images, the panels of the story, this is part of the story panel missing, regardless if it's missing word bubbles or not. This would impact story. And if you sent this to CGC, it would get a 0.5 blue label, or a qualified, and it would say incomplete, affect story. It would. So once again, you're either lying through your teeth there, or you're just wrong and misinformed. But that guy offered 1,800 for all three, which I think honestly was way generous, because you have possibly a 181 that at the most, I think $1,000. I wouldn't pay more than $1,000 for this Hulk 181 that he has, with missing the value stamp and having the missing part of the story. But then he has a 182, which I mean, what in a decent grade is only worth like maybe a couple $100, and it's incomplete as well. It would get a 0.5. And then you have a 180 that has all that black on the back. Even if it was complete, I don't think it would even grade at a 0.5 at all. And he was calling it a fine, but it's got the value stamp missing, and it's also affects the story. As is, I probably wouldn't even pay a couple $100 for that book. Somebody offering him 1,800 was generous, and he basically said, no, I'll do 2,200 for all three. That's a steal. You ain't gonna get nothing like this. And this is what bothered me through the whole thing. He kept saying that they were 0.5s or fine, in the fine range, and that is just not true. And he completely, like I said, when I told him that this would grade a blue label 0.5, he completely ignored it. He didn't ignore it. He got upset and was saying, nah, no way. So I'm sorry. If you're going to come on Whatnot and you're going to lie to this extent, you know what? I'm going to use my platform to call you out on it. It's not right. It's one thing to say, bid it up. And it's one thing to even act like, there's people so many times that are like, this is a $500 book, when it's nothing close to a $500 book at all. But I mind my business. I can't sit and make a video every time somebody wants to be a car salesman, somebody wants to throw a fit because it's sold for way under what they wanted, or even for, lying or being misinformed about what the fair market value. I don't know where half of these people are, how they're valuing their books. It's ridiculous, and it's BS. I can't make a video every time I see somebody doing that. I just laugh and I move on. But in this situation, I felt like the disingenuousness was just so ingrained in this individual. And like I said, David, if you know me, come talk to me, come holler at me. I'll tell it to your face. I will tell it to your face. What you did in this show was deplorable. To continue to call these 0.5s and not acknowledge that they were nowhere near 0.5s. They are incomplete, or excuse me, 5.0s. My bad, guys. To keep calling them 5.0s, when no matter how you cut it, they're incomplete books that are going to grade at a 0.5, unless possibly, which I doubt, you could get a qualified grade with a green label. But even then, they're nothing close. The fair market values, graded, mind you, let alone raw, graded, are nowhere close to what you were not just asking for them, but declaring their values to be. To sit there and call these things a steal. To sit there and tell your viewers, you ain't gonna find a 181 as clean as this at this price. To sit there and do that, that's disgusting. It's deplorable. It's pitiful. And I have no empathy for you. I have no empathy for you. Maybe you're a good human being, but you ain't showing it when you're coming as a businessman and handling your business like this. It's foul, and I won't stand for it. And I'm going to speak on it. I don't care. That's my video today, folks. You guys take it as you will. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and block the name out. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to say what it is. And David, Kaz Comics, like, holler at me, man. You know where to find me. You don't like me. Let's break bread, man to man, and you try to, communicate to me why you think the way that you handled yourself to your viewership, to your consumer base, to your customer safe, why you thought that was okay, why you thought that it was okay. Because in my book, it ain't. And if somebody wants to call me out when I'm being, when I'm not riding a proper ethical line or being a decent human being, call me out. And you know what? I will humble myself. And that's all I'm doing here. I can't stand it. David, you got to be better than that, man. We all want to get that money. And you know what? There's suckers out there all day long that'll bid up books and do what they do. And if you want to ride that fine line to make that money, fine. But there is a line still, David. There is a line, and you crossed it, my guy. You crossed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be well, and until next time.